Imagine standing before a 200-foot wall of ancient blue ice as it thunders into the sea. Watching 1,500-pound brown bears pluck salmon from rushing waterfalls. Or driving through landscapes so remote that you won't see another soul for hundreds of miles, while the aurora borealis dances overhead in impossible colors. This is Alaska. Welcome to WonderSphere, where today we're taking you deep into America's last true frontier, where advancing glaciers like Taku defy climate change, where Denali creates its own weather systems at 20,310 feet, and where a cat named Stubbs served as mayor for 20 years in Talkeetna. From the temperate rainforests of the Tongass to the Arctic wilderness of the Dalton Highway, Alaska offers experiences that will fundamentally change how you see our planet. If you're ready to discover why this wilderness continues to capture hearts and challenge souls, subscribe to WonderSphere and hit that notification bell. Because what you're about to see will redefine your understanding of what wild truly means. Our journey begins with Taku Glacier, a 36-mile-long river of ancient ice that flows from the Juneau ice field into Taku Inlet, creating one of Alaska's most magnificent frozen spectacles, where you're witnessing water that fell as snow centuries ago, compressed into crystal formations that gleam like sapphires in the Arctic light. Here's a fascinating fact. Unlike 95% of Alaska's glaciers that are retreating due to climate change, Taku Glacier is actually advancing at a rate of about 10 feet per year, making it one of the few glaciers in Alaska that continues to grow rather than shrink. The groaning and cracking of this 200-foot wall of blue-white ice creates a symphony that echoes across the inlet. The very sound of time itself flowing toward the sea. While seals rest on floating icebergs that calve from its face, creating a wildlife spectacle that photographers dream of capturing. In the heart of Alaska rises Denali National Park and Preserve, home to North America's tallest peak. Denali, standing majestically at 20,310 feet above sea level, like a white-crowned monarch commanding the Alaska Range. This 6-million-acre wilderness sanctuary protects an ecosystem where grizzly bears roam golden tundra, wolves hunt in ancient patterns, and caribou migrate across landscapes that stretch beyond the horizon. Here's an incredible fact. Denali is so massive that it creates its own weather system. And the mountain is visible only about 30% of the time due to the clouds it generates. The indigenous Koyukon people believed this was the mountain choosing when to reveal its sacred presence. The park is home to the Big Five of Alaska wildlife: grizzly bears, black bears, wolves, caribou, and Dall sheep. And the single 92-mile park road offers visitors a chance to witness these magnificent creatures in pristine habitat, where human presence is kept minimal to preserve the natural balance that has existed for millennia. Covering 17 million acres across southeast Alaska, the Tongass National Forest stands as America's largest temperate rainforest. A primeval world where Sitka spruces and western hemlocks tower 200 feet into mist-shrouded canopies, creating living cathedrals where ravens call through galleries of moss-draped giants, and salmon streams carve silver paths through emerald shadows. Here's a remarkable fact. The Tongass contains more biomass per acre than even tropical rainforests. And some of its trees are over 700 years old, meaning they were already ancient when Columbus first reached the Americas. The forest serves as critical habitat for brown bears, bald eagles, and 5 species of Pacific salmon. While its intricate ecosystem supports everything from tiny shrews to massive humpback whales that feed in coastal waters, making it one of the most biodiverse temperate ecosystems on Earth, where every footstep on moss-carpeted forest floors connects you to cycles of growth that began long before human memory. High in the Talkeetna Mountains, Hatcher Pass opens like a doorway to Alaska's golden past, accessible by a winding mountain road that climbs through alpine meadows toward the weathered remains of the Independence Mine. This breathtaking valley was once Alaska's most productive gold mine, where prospectors chased fortune through the early 1900s. And today, the historic buildings stand as monuments against snow-capped peaks and wildflower meadows. Here's fascinating history. The Independence Mine produced over 34,000 ounces of gold during peak years. And the mine's stamp mill could process 140 tons of ore daily, making it one of Alaska's most technologically advanced operations. In summer, the pass explodes with wildflowers. Lupines painting meadows purple, Indian paintbrush adding scarlet splashes, and mountain avens carpeting slopes in white. While marmots whistle warnings from rocky outcrops and pikas scurry between talus slopes, creating a high-altitude ecosystem that transforms dramatically with seasons. In southwest Alaska's remote wilderness, Katmai National Park protects one of the world's most incredible wildlife spectacles, where massive Alaskan brown bears, some weighing over 1,000 pounds, gather each summer at Brooks Falls to feast on salmon returning to spawn in an ancient ritual that has played out for thousands of years. These magnificent coastal bears, some of Earth's largest, demonstrate fishing techniques passed down through generations. Plucking silver salmon from rushing waters with surprising grace, while visitors watch from viewing platforms just 50 yards away. Here's an amazing fact. Katmai is also home to the Valley of 10,000 Smokes, created by the 1912 eruption of Novarupta volcano, which was one of history's most powerful volcanic explosions, so massive it could be heard 750 miles away in Juneau and deposited ash as far as Vancouver, Canada. The park's 2,200 brown bears represent one of the world's largest protected populations. And during peak salmon runs, up to 40 bears can be seen fishing simultaneously at Brooks Falls. creating a wildlife viewing experience that National Geographic photographers consider among the planet's best. Just 13 miles from downtown Juneau, Mendenhall Glacier creates one of Alaska's most striking and accessible contrasts. A river of ancient ice flowing down through temperate rainforest toward the sea, offering visitors an intimate glimpse into Alaska's icy heart without requiring expedition-level planning. This magnificent glacier, fed by the massive 1,500 square mile Juneau icefield, stretches for 13 miles from its source to its terminus at Mendenhall Lake, where icebergs float like blue diamonds against a backdrop of towering mountains and verdant forest. Here's a sobering fact that illustrates our changing climate. Mendenhall Glacier has retreated over 2 miles since 1958. And scientists predict it will retreat completely out of the Mendenhall Valley within the next 20 to 30 years, making every visit to this accessible wonder increasingly precious. The glacier's retreat has revealed landscapes unseen for over 250 years, including ancient tree stumps and forests that were buried by advancing ice centuries ago. While the newly exposed terrain creates opportunities for plant succession studies that help scientists understand how ecosystems recover after glacial retreat. On Kodiak Island, Alaska's largest island at 3,588 square miles, lives the legendary Kodiak bear. The world's largest terrestrial carnivore, with adult males sometimes reaching weights of up to 1,500 pounds. And standing 10 feet tall on their hind legs, ruling over an island landscape of emerald mountains, salmon-rich streams, and wildflower meadows that seem painted by divine hands. These magnificent giants have evolved in isolation for over 12,000 years, developing into a distinct subspecies that has adapted perfectly to their island kingdom, where they feed on abundant salmon runs, razor clams, and the island's prolific berry crops. Here's an incredible fact. Kodiak Island is home to approximately 3,500 Kodiak bears, giving it one of the highest densities of brown bears anywhere in the world, with roughly 1 bear per square mile across suitable habitat. Stretching 414 miles from Fairbanks to Deadhorse on the Arctic Ocean, the legendary Dalton Highway, also known as the Hall Road, offers one of the world's most remote and challenging driving adventures, crossing 3 mountain ranges, the Arctic Circle, and landscapes that transition from boreal forest to barren Arctic tundra, where the sun never sets in summer. This gravel road, built in 1974 to service the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, represents one of humanity's most ambitious infrastructure projects. Carved through wilderness so remote that cell phone coverage is non-existent for hundreds of miles, and supply trucks are the only regular traffic. here's a mind-boggling fact. The Dalton Highway crosses the Arctic Circle at mile 115, marked by a simple sign that represents one of the most northern points accessible by road in North America. And during winter, temperatures along the route can drop to -80 degrees Fahrenheit, making this one of the coldest roads on Earth. The journey itself becomes a pilgrimage through wilderness, where caribou outnumber people by thousands to one, where the midnight sun illuminates endless vistas during summer months. And where the northern lights paint winter skies in impossible colors of green, purple, and gold. While the road's end at Deadhorse offers intrepid travelers the chance to dip their toes in the Arctic Ocean at the very edge of the North American continent. Anchorage, Alaska's largest city and home to nearly half the state's population of 291,247 residents, brilliantly balances urban amenities with wild encounters in a way that no other major city on Earth can match. Where moose casually stroll through downtown neighborhoods, and office workers enjoy lunch breaks with views of snow-capped Chugach Mountains rising directly from the city's backyard. This modern frontier metropolis serves as the cultural and economic heart of Alaska, while maintaining its character as a gateway to adventure. Where you can catch a morning flight to remote wilderness areas and return for dinner at world-class restaurants that specialize in fresh Alaska seafood. Here's a remarkable urban wildlife fact. Anchorage is home to approximately 1,500 moose that roam freely through the city. And the Alaska Department of Fish and Game receives over 1,000 moose-related calls each year from residents dealing with these massive animals browsing in their gardens, blocking traffic, or simply lounging in their driveways. The city's unique location at 61 degrees north latitude means that during summer, daylight lasts nearly 20 hours, creating an extended golden hour that photographers and outdoor enthusiasts cherish, while winter brings the magical possibility of witnessing the aurora borealis dancing above the city's skyline. Making Anchorage one of the few major cities where you can experience this celestial phenomenon without leaving the urban environment. Nestled at the confluence of 3 rivers in the shadow of Denali, the charming village of Talkeetna, population 876, has evolved from a railroad depot and gold rush supply center into Alaska's premier mountain town. Serving as the launching point for climbers attempting to summit North America's highest peak. While maintaining the quirky, independent spirit that defines authentic Alaskan communities. This picturesque town, whose name means River of Plenty, in the native Denali language. Captures the essence of Alaska's colorful frontier character with its historic buildings, local characters, and stunning mountain views that have inspired countless adventurers and artists. Here's a delightful fact that perfectly captures Talkeetna's unique character. From 1997 to 2017, the town's honorary mayor was a cat named Stubbs, who served for 20 years. And became such a beloved figure that tourists from around the world would visit Talkeetna specifically to meet this famous feline politician, bringing international attention to this small Alaskan community. Dramatically situated at the head of Prince William Sound and surrounded by towering Chugach Mountains, Valdez, population 3,870, combines some of Alaska's most spectacular scenery with rich maritime history and serves as the southern terminus of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. Making it a crucial link in America's energy infrastructure while maintaining its identity as a charming coastal community. This picturesque town, rebuilt after being completely destroyed by the 1964 Good Friday earthquake and tsunami, demonstrates Alaskan resilience and determination. While offering visitors access to some of the state's most pristine wilderness areas and incredible outdoor recreation opportunities. Here's a fascinating historical fact. Valdez receives an average of 326 inches of snow annually, making it one of the snowiest places in Alaska. And the record snowfall in a single season was an astounding 560 inches, over 46 feet, during the winter of 1989 to 1990. Creating snow depths that completely buried single-story buildings and required the use of ladders to access second-floor windows. The town serves as a gateway to Columbia Glacier, one of Alaska's most active tidewater glaciers, and the surrounding Prince William Sound offers world-class sea kayaking, wildlife viewing, and fishing opportunities. While the nearby Thompson Pass provides access to some of the world's most extreme heli-skiing, attracting powder enthusiasts from around the globe who come to experience the legendary deep snow that blankets these coastal mountains. Alaska's capital city, Juneau, population 32,255, holds the unique distinction of being the only state capital in America accessible only by airplane or boat, creating an isolated island of government and culture surrounded by the vast Tongass National Forest and the inside passage's pristine waterways. This remarkable city, built on the slopes of Mount Juneau and Mount Roberts, seamlessly blends political importance with Southeast Alaska's rich cultural heritage, where Tlingit traditions coexist with Russian colonial history and modern governmental functions, all set against a backdrop of temperate rainforest and massive ice fields. Here's an extraordinary geographic fact. Juneau is the largest capital city by area in the United States, covering 3,255 square miles, larger than the entire state of Delaware. Though most of this area consists of wilderness, glaciers, and ice fields that make up the city's official boundaries, but remain largely uninhabited. The city offers unparalleled access to the Juneau ice field, which spans 1,500 square miles and feeds 38 major glaciers. While downtown visitors can take a tramway 1,800 feet up Mount Roberts for panoramic views of the Inside Passage. Or explore the historic downtown district where buildings from 1887, the Gold Rush era house, modern galleries, restaurants, and shops that cater to both locals and the thousands of cruise ship passengers who visit each summer. Perched on the shores of Resurrection Bay on the Kenai Peninsula, Seward, population 2,773, serves as the gateway to Kenai Fjords National Park and stands as one of Alaska's most scenic coastal communities, where dramatic mountains rise directly from tidewater and massive glaciers flow down to meet the Gulf of Alaska in spectacular fashion. Named after William Seward, the U.S. Secretary of State who negotiated the purchase of Alaska from Russia. This charming port town combines stunning natural beauty with rich maritime culture. Serving as both a working fishing harbor and a launching point for some of Alaska's most incredible wilderness adventures. Here's a remarkable fact about Seward's dramatic setting. The town sits at the head of Resurrection Bay, which was carved by glacial action during the last ice age and reaches depths of over 900 feet, making it deep enough to accommodate the largest cruise ships and cargo vessels, while providing a protected harbor surrounded by peaks that rise over 3,000 feet directly from the water's edge. Located in the remote Aleutian Islands chain, Unalaska Island and its main community of Dutch Harbor, Unalaska, population 4,376, represent one of America's most strategic and economically important outposts. Where the island's position at the crossroads of the North Pacific has made it a crucial hub for both military operations and commercial fishing for over 2 centuries. This windswept volcanic island, buffeted by some of the most severe weather on Earth, played a pivotal role in World War II as a major military base and was the site of the only World War II battle fought on American soil, when Japanese forces bombed Dutch Harbor in June 1942. Here's an incredible economic fact. Dutch Harbor consistently ranks as America's top commercial fishing port by volume and value. With the fleet based here, harvesting over 700 million pounds of seafood annually, including pollock, crab, and halibut that supply markets around the world. Making this remote island community one of the most economically productive in Alaska. Baranof Island, the 10th largest island in the United States at 1,636 square miles, stands as a magnificent example of Southeast Alaska's temperate rainforest ecosystem, where ancient Sitka spruces and western hemlocks create a green cathedral that has remained virtually unchanged for thousands of years. This mountainous island, dominated by peaks that rise over 5,000 feet directly from sea level, is home to both brown bears and black bears, one of the few places in Alaska where these two species coexist. While its pristine watersheds support all 5 species of Pacific salmon in runs that have sustained both wildlife and indigenous communities for millennia. Here's a fascinating geological fact. Baranof Island sits on the transform boundary between the Pacific and North American tectonic plates, making it one of the most seismically active regions in Alaska, with frequent earthquakes reshaping the landscape and contributing to the dramatic topography that characterizes the island today. Sitka, population 8,458, nestled on the west side of Baranof Island facing the vast Pacific Ocean, stands as Alaska's most historically significant community and a living museum of the cultural collision between indigenous Tlingit people, Russian colonizers, and American expansion that shaped Alaska's complex identity. This stunning coastal city, surrounded by towering peaks and pristine waters, served as the capital of Russian America from 1808 to 1867, and preserves that heritage through Orthodox churches, Russian architecture, and cultural traditions that coexist with powerful Tlingit art and customs that predate European contact by thousands of years. Here's a remarkable historical fact. Sitka was the site of the formal transfer of Alaska from Russia to the United States on October 18, 1867. When the Russian flag was lowered and the American flag raised in what is now Totem Square, marking the end of Russia's colonial empire in North America and the beginning of Alaska's American era. As our Alaskan journey ends, we're reminded that this magnificent frontier offers more than spectacular scenery. It provides transformation and profound connection to untamed wilderness. From Taku Glacier's advancing ice to Katmai's brown bears, from Unalaska's volcanic landscapes to northern lights along the Dalton Highway, Alaska proves there are still places where nature reigns supreme and wonder awaits at every turn. These landscapes have shaped explorers' dreams and indigenous songs, creating lifetime memories while inspiring us to protect these wild places for future generations. Thank you for joining WonderSphere on this incredible adventure through America's last frontier. If Alaska has sparked your wanderlust, subscribe for more breathtaking destinations and share which Alaskan spot you'd most love to visit.